When the flowers stopped blooming, a story inspired by the movie It Ends With Us.
This is your night, mister.
No, this isn't my night. This is a night for all the women who we made this movie for. This is a night for Blake. This is a night for Colleen. I'm just so grateful that we're here. 5 years in the making.
And finally it's
here. It's here. It's here.
Well, you did it, and you did it so well. And who did you bring with you tonight to celebrate this highly anticipated movie?
I brought my entire family.
I mean, your wife is looking like a bombshell.
Come here, baby.
Emily, you look
Come
gorgeous.
here. Come.
So pretty.
This is the much better version, so I think I could leave right now.
Yeah,
Look at her.
no, not at all.
You got a lot
but
of
I'm happy to be here.
I can only imagine how proud you are of this
So
man.
proud. I have seen him work so hard on this, and here we are. It's finally here.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
I know. Now
Yes.
you get to celebrate and have fun.
Now we get to celebrate and have fun, and we look forward to it.
Y'all have quite the party with you tonight. How many people? You're rolling deep.
Well, look, it takes a village to make a movie,
Yeah.
so we wanted to honor the entire Wayfarer Studios team. So we brought them all. And then I brought my family, I brought some of my best friends.
Hi, friends.
And because honestly, it wouldn't have been possible without all of them and all their support.
Incredible.
And especially this one.
I know.
There'd be no movie without this woman right here.
I can only imagine what was going through your mind, pulling double duty, directing and starring. What will you, though, remember as being most special about pulling off double duty for this project?
What comes to mind isn't so much about the work that went into it, but about the why behind it.
What was the why for you?
The why was that if a Lily Bloom in real life can sit in this theater and maybe make a different choice for herself than was made for her, maybe she sees herself on that screen and she leaves the theater and chooses something different for herself. That's why I made the movie.
That's a beautiful
That's
why,
what I'm
right?
thinking about tonight.
Yeah.
I'm really grateful.
Would you be willing to entertain pulling double duty again in the future?
You're gonna have to ask me in a little while. We're gonna take a vacation. We're gonna take a vacation after
We need
this.
him back first.
I know.
For a moment.
Because we do have It Starts With Us, so I'm hoping to see you back in the double duty role.
I think there are better people for that one.
Justin.
I think Blake Lively's ready to direct. That's what I think. So, yeah.
I respect that. But if she brings it up, could you just tell her you think it's a good idea?
October will mark your 10th anniversary of Jane the Virgin, which really led to your big break.
Yeah.
When you think back to that project, what comes to mind?
Just joy.
Yeah.
Just joy. Some of the best people I've ever worked with. They'll always be family. They are family. Just joy. It was such a joyful 5 years. I mean, we had our 2 kids on that show.
We did.
You know,
Yeah.
so
Y'all
much.
grew up together
We grew up.
too.
We
Yeah.
grew up together.
Yeah.
So,
And we're going to see Gina in 2 weeks. Do you want to say anything to her? Say hi, a little message?
Hi, Gina. Hi, Gina. I wish you were here. Hi, Joe.
Y'all have fun tonight. You have so much
Thank you
celebrating
so
to do.
She was standing on the rooftop of her Boston apartment building, barefoot, holding a half-crushed bouquet from her mother's funeral. The city lights shimmered below, and she was whispering to the stars about how much it hurt to love someone who never knew how to love back. Then came the sound of a door opening, sharp, metallic, and a man's voice cutting through the night. "You gonna jump, or should I?" Lily turned, startled. He stood by the door in scrubs, his brown hair messy, eyes a tired kind of beautiful. She almost smiled. "Neither," she said softly. "Just saying goodbye." "To who?" "My mom. And maybe my old life." That's how it began, the kind of beginning that feels like fate. Ryle was charming in the way storms are beautiful before they break. He listened, he laughed, he remembered every little thing Lily said. Her favorite color, how she collected pressed flowers, how she dreamed of opening her own floral shop. He made her feel like the world had been waiting for her all along. 6 months later, she opened Lily Blooms, a flower shop painted the color of spring. And Ryle was there, standing beside her, holding the ribbon as she cut it. Cameras flashed. Friends clapped. He kissed her forehead and whispered, "You did it." And for a while, it was perfect, until it wasn't. The first time Ryle lost his temper, it was over a casserole. Lily had accidentally burned it while working late at the shop. He came home tired, still in his scrubs. The smell hit him first, then the sight of her apologetic smile. He slammed the pan into the sink, metal clanging against metal. She flinched. His voice cracked like thunder. "Do you ever think before you do things?" He didn't hit her that night. but his words did. Afterward, he cried, apologized, bought her lilies, pink ones, her favorite. It'll never happen again, he swore, and she believed him, because that's what love does.
I mean, it's incredible because I think currently this weekend, you guys are going to be head-to-head to get that kind of box office #1. Is there friendly fire at home?
Oh my gosh, there's so much fire. There's so much fire. No, it is. It's for sure friendly fire. You know, what's interesting is that, like, I would love to be like, yeah, we're competitive, but we really are rooting for each other. And, like, it was my goal to make his movie as successful as I possibly could in whatever way I could. And his as well. And that starts in pre-production and production and post. And we really show up for each other. And we're surrounded by people in our life who show up for us.
Of course, you appear in that film as well. So I love seeing
Yeah, so either way, I'll win the weekend, no matter what. I'll be in both of them.
That's a fair point.
Chess. It's chess, guys. It's
and you win.
Long game, long con. But don't go see Deadpool Wolverine this weekend.
And that's the message.
That movie. Just this weekend, though. I really love it.
Yeah, it's fine.
It makes you believe the best version of someone, even when the worst version is standing right in front of you. Months passed. The shop bloomed. Ryle's career soared. They married in the fall, beneath golden leaves that looked like they were on fire. For a while, it felt safe again, until the second time. It was over a photo. Lily had been sorting old things and found a picture of her teenage boyfriend, Atlas. He was smiling, flower on his nose, holding a pan of cookies. Ryle saw it and froze. "Who's that?" he asked quietly. "My old friend," Lily replied, setting it aside. "Friend?" he scoffed. "You mean boyfriend?" Before she could answer, the frame hit the floor, glass shattering like ice. His hand found her arm, not gently. She gasped. Then came the silence, the tears, the apology. And this time, she didn't believe him, not completely. When Atlas reappeared in her life, it wasn't cinematic. He simply walked into her flower shop one afternoon, holding a bag of soil and that same gentle smile. "I heard you opened this place," he said. "I'm proud of you." For a moment, time folded back to when they were just kids, broken and hopeful, helping each other survive their own family's storms. He ordered flowers for a new restaurant he'd opened. But when he looked at her hand and saw the wedding ring, his eyes softened with sadness. Later that night, Ryle saw Atlas's name in her phone. The argument that followed wasn't about love. It was about control. When Ryle's anger flared again, she saw her mother's face in her mind, bruised, pleading, silent. And she made a decision. This time, she would not stay silent. The night Lily left, it was raining again, just like the night she met him. She packed a small bag, grabbed her phone, and slipped out before he came home. She drove aimlessly until she stopped in front of Atlas's restaurant, lights dim inside. Dim.
Everyone together for love.
He opened the door without a word, as though he'd been waiting. "You don't have to explain," he said. "You just need to rest." He led her inside, made her tea, and sat across from her in silence. The quiet felt safe. When she finally broke down, sobbing into her hands, he whispered, "You did the right thing, Lily." But the hardest part wasn't leaving Ryle. It was realizing she still loved him. Because love doesn't disappear when you walk away. It lingers like perfume, like a ghost. Months passed. Lily had her daughter, Emerson, a name she chose because it meant bravery. Ryle came to see the baby at the hospital, his eyes swollen from tears. "She looks just like you," he whispered. "Can we start over?" Lily looked at him, heart splitting in two. She wanted to believe him, but she remembered every apology, every broken promise, every bruise that wasn't visible. She thought of her daughter growing up and learning what love looked like. And Lily decided it couldn't look like this. She took a deep breath, tears rolling down her cheeks, and said the words that would end it all. "It ends with us, Ryle. Years later, Lily stood in her flower shop, now bigger, brighter, and filled with laughter. Emerson ran between the aisles, holding a handful of sunflowers. Atlas walked in, a familiar warmth in his smile. "You've done it, Lil," he said. "You made it." She turned to him, brushing hair from her face. "I had to. For her." They stood in the soft glow of the afternoon, surrounded by blooms that never stopped growing, a symbol of all she'd lost and all she'd finally gained. Outside, the city buzzed, the world kept spinning, and Lily Bloom smiled for the first time in a long while. A smile that wasn't pretending, a smile that meant freedom.
Thank you, Brandon. I love the movie.
Appreciate it. Thanks, man.
Okay.
Oh, God.
This is cool. It's not every day the husband gets to interview his wife's love interest in a film. It's kind of crazy.
I don't remember seeing this on the schedule.
Let's dive in, shall we? So I saw you posing in a photo with Mrs. Reynolds, and I'm sorry, what do you call her? Do you guys have a nickname or something? Okay, no, just so it's Mrs. Okay. Anyway, I saw this photo. It was pretty suggestive. So I got it right here. I'm gonna get right to it. How do you explain that? Is that genetics? You have some sort of like low-angle squat routine to pop that region in that way? I mean, what's going on here, man? Are you smuggling pumpkins? Got a couple of small pumpkins there? Jesus Christ, my heart is beating like crazy right now. This reminds me of when I went on that meth journey, confront my inner child.
And I wasn't a meth journey. I think you mean like ayahuasca, like South American plant known for its medicinal benefits. Definitely not meth. You should not be doing a meth journey.
I've been on a meth journey for about 6 months now.
I mean, I'm not a doctor, but you're probably gonna die.
I feel well.
You don't look well.
Let's talk motorcycles here. Do you ride?
Yeah, a little bit.
What kind of bike do you like to ride?
I mean, anything with 2 wheels and kickstand, right?
But honestly, that could be anything. I mean, as far as I know, you just described, riding Stephen Hawking through the Nevada desert in the middle of a summer heat wave. He's not gonna make it.
Ryan?
Yep.
You wanna take a break?
From Blake? Sure.
Hello, Brandon.
No.
Well, it's not every day the mother-in-law of the leading lady gets to interview the love interest and the man trying to replace my sweet little gummy bear, Ryan. Let's dive in, shall we?
Should we not dive in?
Mom, it's Ryan. I wrote all these questions, but don't tell Brandon. I didn't expect to love him so much, so don't fucking blow this for me. Oh my God, that language.
Seriously, we don't have to do this. I mean, I'm not crazy about interviews.
Brandon, I saw the film, and may I say, you are incredible in this movie. On a scale from 1 to, I stopped taking my blood thinner medication, because if I can't have you, I don't want me.
Mrs. Reynolds, you should probably keep taking your medication, and I'm a little worried about your son. Like, he's for sure addicted to meth,
God
right?
Damn, you're gorgeous. It creeps up on you.
Jesus, God, no.
Did you know that Ryan lost his father in 2015?
I'm sorry. And living with Ryan must have been incredibly hard for him.
Bro, I don't feel very comfortable asking this question.
Nope, I got it. I'll get it. Here, I can do that. You're not gonna read it? I will then. Okay, thank you very much. That's the one. It says Ryan would love to have a new dad to have a catch. And I think he could really use a man in his life. Hugh is no spring chicken anymore. Blink once for yes, or blink once for I'd love to be your new dad. He blinked. He blinked.
Is this hell?
No, it's Iowa. That's from Field of Dreams. It's one of Ryan's favorite movies because he and his late father had so much unresolved sadness. But pride got in the way, and neither of them were able to find closure. Ryan thinks Field of Dreams is a true story because he's on meth, and that drug is super scary.
Mrs. Reynolds.
Call me Blake.
Oh,
I could blow your fucking mind, dog.
Oh, man.
Brandon.
Tammy, you're great. No.
It's not every day a guy gets to interview the love interest of his best friend's wife and the guy trying to replace Ryan as a husband and me as his best mate.
Holy shit.
I've never done an interview before, but I've done a lot of things, like crazy things in Australia. You do understand you can't even get into preschool unless you take a person's life with your own bare hands. Twice.
Totally.
So listen, I've just got one question. What the hell are you doing messing with my best buddy's wife?
Sir, I have no idea what's happening at all today. But I do have to say, while I have you here, your work in Les Mis, what a triumph. I mean, I am a huge fan. You can do it all. You're a unicorn.
That jawline. Oh. The way he finds the light?
No. It's like the light finds him. It's just like...
finds him. That's exactly right.
That's it. I was expecting not to like him.
Oh, yeah.
But he is so nice.
The nicest guy.
So funny, charming, kind.
Yeah.
What a wonderful guy.
What is ayahuasca?
I think we found the next Wolverine.
How we doing? Hey, beautiful. Where's my wife? Where your wife? Where your wife at? We want to get her. She go in already? Come on, wifey. We need you. Yeah, remember, Justin, you remember I shot you guys at the premiere? What's going on, man? Good to see you, man. Remember I asked you guys to pose. Thank you very much, Justin. Right here, guys. Beautiful. Thank you very much.
How did Blake Lively get her name?
My grandmother's brother was named Blake.
Oh.
But he was murdered. So thanks for asking, Google.
She's so dark.
Female gaze. And in no way was I running them through the, my male brain. As much as I can try to see the world as a woman, I never will be able to. And I know what I don't know. So early on, we brought on an intimacy coordinator, and I started meeting with her to figure out what are ways that I can shoot this. How can this always reflect back, one, to the source material, and while we might not be recreating exactly what was in the book, how can we recreate the feeling? So difficult being a director in some instances, because so often the vision of the film is just in my head, and it's my job to try to figure out how to get everybody on board to have this shared vision. And so sometimes during this process, as I'm playing Ryle or as I'm directing, there's just times when maybe words get stuck and I don't get it out the way that I want to, or we're running out of time, and there's always challenges. Every movie is a miracle. And this is all Blake. Like I said, Blake was involved in all aspects of this production, and she is also a marketing genius. Her and Ryan together are something else. But this was all Blake, and she knew that the song would work, and she got Taylor to do it, and I was just nothing to do with it. I was just so grateful that Taylor agreed. And
Dream team. The soundtrack is amazing, like 10 out of 10.
Oh, baby, let me break it down for you because the tea is piping hot. So, last night the court went and unsealed a stack of documents in this messy case. And guess who just dumped all of it on the docket like it's hot gossip? Yup, Michael Gottlieb, Blake Lively's lawyer, came through dropping files like mixtapes. I've been digging through some of this juicy mess, and baby, we need to talk about what really went down, not just on that movie set, but also during the promo circus, and before they even started pushing this film. Now, y'all been hitting me up asking, what's even defamatory about fans saying the film's marketing was out of pocket? Like, where's the lie in calling Blake out for how she tried to push this movie? But listen, none of that fan chatter was even in Melissa Nathan's playbook on how to clean up the chaos Blake stirred by dropping shady lil stories to the press about Justin Baldoni. Okay, now hold up. Let's rewind this drama real quick. So, if y'all remember, Sis had him signing papers back in November 2023. Yup, Blake had that doc lined up real official, laying out all the protections she wanted before she even stepped foot back on set. And baby, that paper gave her major boss moves on this film, like so much power that even Justin Baldoni had to acknowledge it by January. Now catch this. Before they even resumed filming, before that now infamous penthouse meeting where rumor has it, Ryan Reynolds went full-on screaming and hollering at Justin. Justin was already telling his crew he was stressed, like big stressed. He was saying he had to figure out how to move through this whole mess after Blake finessed that doc to snatch control. And get this, on January 2nd, Justin texts his boys like, I ain't seen Blake face-to-face since the safety letter drama. I'm feeling all types of ways. She used that claim to flip the whole production in her favor. Hugh, it's giving power play. Now this part right here, it's straight out of a soap opera. So Justin was out here pouring his heart out in texts like, I'm trying to keep it together, steer this ship like a captain, but the whole damn boat feeling hijacked. He's basically saying he's stuck trying to give Blake almost everything she wants, while still trying to hold on to some shred of his own creative vision. And starting that Friday, he had to show up and act alongside a woman who, according to him, would weaponize anything he said or did. That's deep. He even admitted it was terrifying, but said he felt some kind of spiritual protection. Then he opens up the chat thread again like, I need support, y'all. And boom, his people come through. Somebody said they were literally at the temple and would pray for him. Then a flood of love started rolling in. From friends, from his co-star Adam, even from Rainn Wilson. Like folks really rallied around him. The vibe was crystal clear. Justin believed Blake was out here twisting everything to tighten her grip on the film. And remember, this was all going down before filming even picked back up. January 2nd, and he's already waving the red flag. See, this ain't some petty made-up after-the-fact sob story Justin cooked up post-December 2024. Nah, this was his mindset way before that. Let's make that clear. Now let me take y'all behind the curtain for a sec, because back when the movie was actually being promoted, baby, the convo happening online was nothing like the quiet little crisis scripts Melissa Nathan was drafting to maybe spin against Blake later, and that's where things start to get real shady. I finally clocked why they've been so pressed to loop Shasti Flott into all this mess. It's because the internet started popping off about how Blake and Ryan were trying to sell this film like it was some soft, flowery lil summertime rom-com. Real picnic in the park vibes. And that criticism, that whole vibe, it wasn't anywhere in their playbook. They weren't ready. Matter of fact, most of what they were doing behind the scenes was scrambling, trying to pivot and deal with the real issue. Leslie Sloan was out here shopping a story, so all that chirping online, that wasn't no random backlash. It was folks catching on, and they weren't ready for it.
Geeks always have a little bit of a sense of humor. For my baby, I just did a giant set of which I feel like will haunt him for life. But what do they want at 1? Like, he can't declare what he wants.
Yeah. What he wants at
Really?
1. Yeah.
I'll show you a picture after. They're pretty
Oh, I
amazing.
need to
of
see
the cake,
that.
not
Of the
mine.
cake. Of your
Also
food.
amazing. Though.
Well, I
Oh, now this is where it gets real grimy. So check it. As early as the end of July, Leslie Sloan was already out here slipping stories to the New York Post, specifically to Sarah Nathan. Yes, that's Sarah Nathan, the same one Blake's team later tried to drag into court with a subpoena, claiming she had nothing to do with the article or its sources. Baby, the math ain't mathin'. Then we got these messy little receipts. Text messages between Melissa Nathan, Katie Case, and the whole Lil Tag team crew from back on August 12, 2024. Texts that even Brianna Koslow and maybe writer Tatiana Siegel got a peek at. Now, Katie? She didn't hold back. Sis said, someone needs to tell them to grow up. They marketed a film about domestic violence like it was some goofy rom-com. I know this backlash is 'cause of us, and 'cause Leslie told folks I ran that whole Team Johnny Depp and bots thing. Whew, the irony. But even she had to admit, by that point, the tides were already shifting, and the internet was not here for the gamesy. Now this part, this is where the real ones were speaking up. So let's talk about it. Judd didn't even step into the ring till, Thursday? And still, folks out here trying to act like he was sent on a mission. Nah. They straight up said, we never told Judd to drag her over the promo. That whole conversation popped off all on its own. And why? 'Cause people saw the movie and were like, hold up, this is about domestic violence? And y'all out here throwing florals and picnic vibes on it? Make it make sense. Zoe even hit me on Saturday like, this is a wild way to market a film. What even is this? And honestly, they weren't wrong. Folks were confused, shook, and not here for the sugar-coated aesthetic. And listen, this wasn't some PR mastermind pulling strings in the background. Nobody orchestrated that outrage. This was real people, real reactions, real TikToks. No bots, no fake accounts, just viewers calling it like they saw it. They never told Judd, hey, drag Blake's promo choices. But guess what? That's exactly where the convo went. Naturally, organically. And once it started, it took off like wildfire. So just as the whole drama was popping off, the algorithm on TikTok went wild, and folks started spilling tea on how shady she was acting in those interviews. Like something straight up felt off. Folks were like, why is she dodging questions like that? Then it got real personal. Victims of domestic violence and Colleen's fans were all in their feelings about it. That's when I bet people started digging up other Blake interviews where she was straight up bullying folks. And honestly, that's the kind of vibe where someone like Shasti would feel comfy sharing that kind of dirt. 'Cause sometimes as a journalist, you gotta keep your mouth shut about what you know. Protect your sources, keep those connections tight. But you can tell this situation had Shasti heated, no doubt. So Shasti found that spot to let it all out, no filter, just straight up organic vibes. Then Blake drops this interview, totally brushing off a question about how she'd handle folks reaching out about domestic violence. Girl, it came off cold, like she didn't even care or see the people. She basically lit the whole damn fuse with how she rolled it out. Her dismissive attitude toward victims, that was the spark. Then bam, the internet jumped in, doing what it do, and the algorithm ate it up like candy. Of course, folks started screaming for a statement like, "We want him to say something." But hold up, about what exactly? Still, nobody knows the full tea on what they want him to address. The mystery's still cooking.
You know, you have to stop saying that you're going to move to Canada whenever you're mad at something in the U.S. As a Canadian, I'm sorry, but no, you can't. I know we're friendly, but Canada's not your safe house. I mean, we barely let Canadians into Canada anymore, so please, pick somewhere else. I hear Finland is really lovely this time of year.
So, does the Justin crew want us out here trying to squash these fights on set rumors? They stay hella cautious, but they talk to Bologna, and girl, I can't get a straight vibe. Turns out they weren't even the ones tossing those fight stories out. Nah, that was all Blake's mess. Now here's where it gets real clear in the back and forth. After they pushed Wayfarer hard to drop a statement, then finally got him to chill and not put one out of nowhere, Ryan Reynolds steps up. Yes, Ryan Reynolds starts sneaking tea to the Daily Mail, spilling all about how trash the movie was, how he had to swoop in because the script was a hot mess. Can you believe that? Remember that letter Ryan sent to the cops in Vancouver, talking about how he needed to save pedestrians, rescue folks on the street? Now he's flexing that savior complex again, but this time he gotta save the whole damn movie. But meanwhile, Ryan's out here telling the public if he hadn't jumped in and rewritten parts of the script, this flick would have straight up bombed and been a disaster. He had to save it. For his wife, no less. Like, his wife needed rescuing to shine, to make her career pop off. Justin, he's sweating all this, big time. Then Blake drops some text receipts in her amended complaint. One convo where Justin's like, "My partners want to flip the script on this leak this morning." Ryan saying the script was trash, but he saved the movie. But girl, that convo? She left out some juicy parts. Melissa chimes in. Nah, it's actually working in our favor. Ryan's looking bad, playing right into the narrative that they're the problem. It's good for us, bad for them. Then Justin throws in something about Ryan claiming the female writer hired was a feminist who didn't know how to handle a female film, using their own words against them. That flip? Easy. Thank you, next.
And this is all Blake. Like I said, Blake was involved in all aspects of this production, and she is also a marketing genius. You know, her and Ryan together are something else. But this was all Blake, and she knew that the song would work, and she got Taylor to do it, and I was just had nothing to do with it. I was just so grateful that Taylor agreed. And
Dream team. The soundtrack is amazing, like 10 out of 10.
Cakes always have a little bit of a sense of humor. For my baby, I just did a giant set of which I feel like will haunt him for life. But what do they want at one? Like he can't declare what he wants.
Yeah. What he wants at
Really?
one. Yeah.
I'll show you a picture after. They're pretty
Oh, I
amazing.
need to see
of the cake,
that.
not of
the
mine.
cake, of your
Also
food.
amazing. Though.
Well, I
You know, you have to stop saying that you're going to move to Canada whenever you're mad at something in the U.S. As a Canadian, I'm sorry, but no, you can't. I know we're friendly, but Canada's not your safe house. I mean, we barely let Canadians into Canada anymore, so please, pick somewhere else. I hear Finland is really lovely this time of year.
Blake and Ryan? Oh, baby. They still making folks real money and stay booked and marketable. Their team got skin in the game, making sure they stay looking squeaky clean in them headlines. And it ain't just Leslie Sloan pulling strings. WME, that big dog agency, is deep in this too. And remember when I spilled that lil tea? Folks been whispering for years that WME be out here playing dirty, using bots, mass flagging, reporting folks left and right. And Chiley, Word is they boostin' them follower counts like it's Black Friday. 'Cause best believe, in this clout-chasin' era, production houses stay hirin' based on who's poppin' online. And boo, did I mention folks been shook to speak up about WME? 'Cause let's be real, they got that kind of power to blacklist folks real quiet and shut doors in Hollywood like it's nothin'. So now Judd Wallace done pulled up with receipts. He filed them docs he gave Blake, and then Blake hit him with an omnibus motion to Capel just last week, dropping all this tea from different folks. And baby, the way she movin', she low-key making folks tussle just to keep them docs sealed. But not everything's hush-hush. So yeah, some of that info gotta come out in the open, no blackout. Judd just slid the court a little letter too, asking they keep his bank info, number, emails, socials, you know, the personal stuff, under wraps. Then boom, they went and dropped the whole exhibit Blake had filed straight into the court docket, front and center. And what got me side-eyeing? Just last week, Blake was out here crying foul in a motion to strike like, y'all only doing this so folks gotta fight to keep stuff sealed. But sis, your own omnibus motion got folks doing exactly that, fighting for their lives trying to keep things under wraps. Now in Judd's latest production, baby, there's a whole text thread sitting in there, along with answers to them interrogatories. And let me tell you, this thread, from late January to February, right when the block was hot. We talking lawsuits dropping, Justin's career spiraling, and folks pointing fingers at Melissa, Nathan, the whole crew for that alleged smear campaign. And them messages? Phew, Brianna Koslow, Brian Friedman, Dervla, Jamie Heath, Jason Sunshine, Jen Abel, one of the Lawrences, Matt or Michael, and Mitra, who's an attorney, all in the mix. I think Michael's one of their attorneys to MIT, Toskovich, Melissa Nathan, Rosa, Riley Long, Spencer, Summer Benson, and Teresa Legal. Okay, so there's some attorneys on here and Jed put this into the documents. Okay, and Nathan, Melissa sent a message and says, why is the entire website deleted? And then Rosa said also access removed. I'm assuming for security reasons, doc is hopefully downloaded somewhere. And then MIT's doc, Toskovich, says, are we talking about the Google Doc or website? I have made a new Google Doc. The one Rosa started wasn't saving. And I believe the website was scrubbed because all the info would need uploaded again anyway. And Rosa said the Google Doc. And then MIT's wrote, yes, new Google Doc is with Jamie and Justin for review. And then we'll pass off to the rest. Mel, Jen, Legal, and then Rosa. So boom, they was planning a whole website to spill all of the so-called evidence. And it sounded like they were gonna drop it in a Google Doc too. But clearly, that didn't happen. 'Cause when the site finally went live, baby, it was dry. Just lawsuit info, the amended complaint, and Exhibit A. Rosa was like, okay, great, thanks. But then came back like, hi, nah, nothing is live yet, not even in staging. She said they were just talking about that timeline doc they'd been working on, basically a play-by-play of all the mess. That's the same document she was supposedly trying to get from Rosa. But sis already got it from Judd. What's she playing at? Rosa's with Skyline Agency, BTW. But then, on February 22nd, a whole thread pops off. It's them watching and passing around social media posts. One was a video Jamie dropped of Zach Peter running his mouth about an HR complaint, saying none were ever filed. And Judd? He was like, phew, I love me some Zach Peter. Jed Wallace goes, also, a nice breakdown here. Hope everybody's having a beautiful family night. Now mind you, this was right around the time them 3 HR complaints got leaked. Remember that drama? Folks were out here trying to figure out if they were real or just made up fluff. And child, I just read them today, and let me tell you, they are giving fake, fake, fake. So the irony of all this coming up in these texts? Phew. Anyway, someone tells Jed, thanks for keeping me on track with all this, Jed. I appreciate you. So he was basically feeding them clips of what folks was saying online, which sounds like he was just watching from the sidelines, right? But then Jed says, same here. The forensic guys put it all in the reports, but some stuff I just enjoy more than others. It's given I'm not involved, but we see you, sir. So apparently, Wayfarer out here keeping tabs on what folks are saying online. Makes sense, right? Because if you're trying to prove it's all organic, Best believe you watchin' every lil post like a hawk. Then Justin drops a link to a Hollywood Reporter article, the one Blake went off on, calling it sexist, screaming David versus Goliath, and bringing up the Baha'i faith. It had some wild parts, sure, but it wasn't all that harsh. Definitely softer than some of the other hit pieces. Then Melissa Nathan reacts like, oh my god. And Jed Wallace chimes in with, Beavers B does a B, domestic alone, whatever that means. And then Justin drops this, Jen and Melissa, this was just sent to Travis's agent, meaning Travis Van Winkle. It's a doc request from some London-based producer at Optimum, who's flexing that they're Emmy and BAFTA winners. Apparently, they making a 3-part docuseries on Blake and Justin's whole messy beef for a global streaming platform. Woo. This whole project? It's following the same blueprint as them deep dive docuseries they did for Discovering HBO. You know, the ones where they go all in on high-profile celeb trials. The first episode's supposed to break down all the leaks, articles, lawsuits, and drama that led up to the libel trials. So the producer hits up Travis Van Winkle's People Talking About. Since he's known Justin for over 20 years and even popped up on his Man Up podcast, maybe he can speak on what Justin's really like. Real smooth with it. They want to keep the convo on the low, background only, trying to finesse Travis into doing an interview. The producer's name? Maya Adelia. Then Ahmed hops in like, she emailed me too, same pitch. Mitra jumps in with the casual flex like, oh, I've worked with them before. They did that Discovery doc on Johnny Depp. I was in that one. Then she's like, another British production company hit up ITN. They're doing a 1-hour piece too, not sure which streamer. Meanwhile, they just pass in clips like snacks, Zach again, and then something else they're all sharing.
Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Let's talk about it. If you're feeling the vibe, hit that like button. And if you're new to the fam, make sure you smash that subscribe button. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so you're the first to know when we drop the latest and greatest. Thanks for tuning in.
You know, you have to stop saying that you're going to move to Canada whenever you're mad at something in the US. As a Canadian, I'm sorry, but no, you can't. I know we're friendly, but Canada's not your safe house. I mean, we barely let Canadians into Canada anymore, so please, pick somewhere else. I hear Finland is really lovely this time of year.
Cakes always have a little bit of a sense of humor. For my baby, I just did a giant set of which I feel like will haunt him for life. But what do they want at 1? Like, he can't declare what he wants.
Yeah. What he wants at
Really?
1. Yeah.
I'll show you a picture after. They're pretty
Oh, I
amazing.
need to see
of the cake,
that.
not of mine.
Of your
Also amazing, though.
Well, yes, I
Something Ryan Reynolds said to the cops up in Vancouver, and baby, it's wild. Folks stay confused on why people keep hollering that this judge is shady. But let me tell you, he got real pressed over some letters Perez Hilton sent, and probably a few spicy ones from creators calling him out for acting biased. Judges? Oh, they hate when folks speak too much truth. But the gag is, the Southern District of New York, baby, that place stay dirty. One of the most corrupt federal courts in the entire US. They out here dealing with more messy cases on crooked officials, cops, even judges than anywhere else in the country. Baby, the corruption in New York? Thick like grits, and it runs deep. So don't act surprised when folks start throwing shade and saying this whole case got a lil funk to it. 'Cause honestly, some of these rulings, they wouldn't fly anywhere else. The kind of leeway Blake and Ryan keep getting. Child, I ain't never seen nothing like it. That judge stay riding for Blake, like clockwork, ignoring real receipts, illegal subpoenas, shady moves, all of it. Just turning his head like he ain't seen nothing. Meanwhile, everything Wayfarer does gets dragged like it's automatically wrong. And whew, let me tell you, I got something I've been holding back, but today, I'ma spill it. 'Cause I would not put it past Ryan Reynolds, not one bit. Trying to sway the judge or twist the court with his Hollywood clout? Oh, Ryan been on that. I got my hands on a whole case file, Chile, from way back in 2015 and 2016, when Ryan legit tried to get a paparazzo locked up. He swore up and down he got hit by a car, but the real tea, that pap snapped a pic of him in full Deadpool makeup before the movie dropped. You know, the one where he looked like he just walked out of fire. Yeah, that. And baby, Ryan snapped. One photo had him spiraling into a full-blown meltdown that lasted years, trying to toss that man in prison over straight-up lies. Then he pulled strings in Vancouver, talking big money and big movies like he run in the city. And oh, I got a letter he wrote to the cops, and you need to hear every single word. This came after he already ran his mouth to police. Dated April 12th, 2015. And listen, I ain't never dropped this full letter before, so buckle up, because we're about to step into Ryan Reynolds' actual mindset. It starts all proper. Hi, my name is Ryan Reynolds, and I'm an actor, public figure from Vancouver, BC, Canada. Then he name drops his wife, Blake Lively, Blake Reynolds, and their baby girl, James Inez Reynolds. He even tosses in his mama's name, Tamara Lee Reynolds. Like, okay, sir, we get it. Then boom, he dives right into the drama. Says he got a long history with Richard Fidek, some paparazzo who'd been on his nerves. Claims the first time he clocked Richard was 4 years earlier in Vancouver when he and Blake were just trying to chill with fam. But Ryan says Richard tailed them in his car, pushing wild speeds, creeping up behind him like he was in a Fast and Furious movie or something. Let me be real clear, none of this went down, not a lick of it. But here go Ryan acting like he's saving the streets, talking about he feared for Blake, himself, and all the innocent folks just trying to live. Says he pulled over and hopped out like he was about to check somebody. And who's there? Richard Vidak, popping out with a long lens camera, snapping pics like it's TMZ live. Now listen, Ryan knows he's famous, knows people go and catch him out in public, but he acting like it was shocking this man had a camera while driving. Sir, you're not the president. Anyway, he calls the whole thing aggressive and says it had him shook. So instead of saying anything, he claims he dipped back in the car and kept it pushing. But not before saying Richard kept tailing him so close, he swore their bumpers were about to kiss. The way he tells it, they were scared, frustrated, and just straight up confused. So boom, we get to the part where Ryan say once they reached his mama's spot, Richard posted up outside like he was in a spy movie. He says they peeked out the window and saw him pacing, circling the front, dipping into the underground parkade, and even hiding behind bushes across the street. Now pause, I already dragged this whole story in a past video, so let's be real. None of this is true, not a drop. Doesn't line up with any of the receipts. He pulled this straight out of his Hollywood imagination, and that's just facts. And if you want to see where I broke it all down, go peep the episode in my podcast playlist. Now here's the kicker. Ryan says Blake got history with a stalker, so all this extra from Vidak had her on edge. Then he claims they spotted Richard like 12 more times from their hotel window and even from the 5th floor gym. So dramatic. And apparently, to avoid a vehicular collision, they stayed holed up in that hotel room the rest of the trip, okay? So instead of stepping out, they had family come to them, real incognito vibes. Then, fast forward like 3 years, they head back to Vancouver, and they swear up and down they were so shook that Pidek would pop up at the airport. They pulled a whole detour, flew into Seattle, rented a car, and drove 2 hours from SeaTac to dodge him. I mean, the dramatics. But plot twist, he still figured out they were in town. On that trip, Ryan claims both he and Blake saw Richard act even wilder, like he'd leveled up on the chaos. Said while cruising from the hotel to his mama's spot in Kitsilano, Richard, this time with an Asian woman riding shotgun, started tailing them again, creeping up like they in a car chase. Ryan says he went through an intersection, right as the light flipped from green to yellow. A city bus was behind him, and Richard, he was riding that bus's bumper like he was glued to it. So the light flips, right? The bus behind him hits the brakes, don't go through. But Ryan, he just keeps going like he above traffic laws. Says other drivers start honking and one even slams the brakes as Richard allegedly runs the red. Illegally, of course. And right on cue, Ryan pulls over, cue the dramatic music. He swears up and down he and Blake were suddenly so concerned that this chase was going to hurt innocent bystanders. And let's pause, because if you peep the pattern, Ryan always got to be the saviour, the protector, the hero. And let's not forget, this ain't even real. When he says this all happened, Richard wasn't even in Vancouver. But anyway, Ryan claims they worried Richard was going to cause a wreck and hurt somebody. Says that's when he knew it was serious. They parked on West Broadway near Vine Street, and apparently it was so bad, the only option was calling 911. But get this, he couldn't find his phone, and Richard parked right behind him. Blake, in tears, crying. I mean, Ryan really said he was in shock that someone would risk lives just for a photo. Like this picture was the crown jewels or something. He swears Fidek was out there smirking and getting a kick out of the whole chase, like it was a game. Says they'd catch him grinning or throwing a lil wave as he slid up next to him in traffic. Okay, sir. Anyway, they were only a couple blocks from his mama's crib, so Ryan says they decided to wait and call 911 from there. Then here come more stunts. He makes a U-turn and claims Fidek tried to match it, but flopped. Supposedly underestimated his car's turn radius and jumped the sidewalk on Broadway like it's Grand Theft Auto. Said dude stayed driving on the sidewalk till he could finish that turn. So finally, they roll up to Mama's house, and Ryan says he hit up 911. 2 cops pull up quick. But guess what? Richard pieced out right before they got there. Then police started grilling 2 random dudes outside the building. Turns out they were also caught on Richard's camera, part of some paparazzi syndicate or something. And here's the kicker. None of that actually went down. Ryan just straight up made it all up because he was salty. Richard snapped those photos leaking everywhere. Fast forward 2 years, Ryan's on set filming a Canadian flick called The Captive in Sudbury, Ontario. Just over 3 weeks of work. He and Blake were crashing at this tiny hotel when bam, they spot Richard again, stalking him all over town like he ain't got no chill. So Ryan says they had like 6 of these wild chases, just straight up stalking vibes. He claims Richard was all up in their hotel halls, sneaking around like he owned the place, even though he wasn't even a registered guest. But hold up, turns out that ain't true. Dude spent most his time on the film set and lounging around the hotel, just following them like a shadow. They got so fed up, they basically stopped leaving the hotel except for the bare essentials. Groceries, work, that's it. Blake was so shook. After the first week, she wouldn't step foot outside at all. Then, after filming wrapped, Richard supposedly tailed them all the way to Toronto, hanging outside their hotel 24/7. But here's the plot twist. He actually showed receipts with plane tickets proving he wasn't even in Toronto.
Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Let's talk about it. If you're feeling the vibe, hit that like button. And if you're new to the fam, make sure you smash that subscribe button. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so you're the first to know when we drop the latest and greatest. Thanks for tuning in.
What I can say without going too into it is that this year has been full of the highest highs and the lowest lows of my life. And I see so many women around afraid to speak, especially right now, afraid to share their experiences. And fear is by design, it's silent. But I also acknowledge that many people don't have the opportunity to speak. So I do feel fortunate. And it's the women who have had the ability to use their voice that's kept me strong and you know, helped me in my belief and my fight for the world to be safer for women and girls.
This whole case been nothing but a messy lil spin game. It's flip-flopping from one weak excuse to the next, one half-baked theory after another, just doing the absolute most to dodge accountability, all while trying to rock the victim cape. And baby, that flip got real obvious in a fresh clapback filing to Perez Hilton's motion for a protective order. Now Perez wasn't playing. He went straight to the court like, "Judge, I need y'all to step in," saying Blake Lively got no business throwing out subpoenas left and right unless the court greenlights it first. He called it out for what it was: bully tactics, intimidation, harassment, all that. And unlike the rest who begged for protection, this judge said, "Okay," stamped it official, and told Blake she had till yesterday to speak up. Now Perez already got up on his platform and gave a whole dramatic reading of that document, so I ain't finna read the whole thing either. But let's keep it 100. Perez is denying every single messy accusation they threw at him in them papers. Basically, they trying to paint him like he's some bought and paid for mouthpiece, working behind the scenes for Wayfarer, like he out here planting stories, stirring the pot, and getting checks for it. Paid, unpaid, direct, indirect. Sis trying to argue there's some secret deal going on between him and Wayfarer, saying he's out here twisting the socials and pushing lies about her name. Now look, Perez might not be everybody's cup of tea, I get it. He messy, but he's always been cool with me. Always respectful, always kind. And truth be told, the man do got jokes that make me cackle.
He give real old school vibes, like back when the tabloids used to throw shade with slick lil nicknames and them shady one-liners that had folks gagging. Kinda like them throwback news anchors who always had a punchline ready. That's Perez. He blend in the facts with a whole lot of flavor. His videos got that mix, the actual tea, plus his spicy 2 cents, and a lil razzle-dazzle to keep it cute. And let's be real, that's the formula. Y'all don't just pull up for cold hard facts. Y'all want the drama, the giggles, the whole show. Now sis, on the other hand, she done switched her storyline again. It ain't about denying the smear campaign anymore, nah. Now she hollerin' that she bein' robbed of discovery cause folks claiming privilege left and right or suddenly got amnesia and deleted the receipts. Or folks conveniently misplaced the tea, like the idea that maybe the evidence just ain't there. That's never even on the table. Ain't no world where she just says, hey, maybe I got it wrong. Nope. It's always some tale about how they blocking her from getting the goods she need to prove her case. And when I peeped that part, I damn near rolled my eyes into next week, but honestly, why am I even surprised? Now, since Wayfarer is giving her the cold shoulder on them docs, saying they're protected by privilege, sis decided to get slick. She spotted one name on a group text that's in that privilege log, found out this woman lives in Texas, and now she rolling up on her. She trying to say this lady got no right to claim privilege, so she want to snatch them receipts from her instead. Still chasing them records, even after Liner told her no. Cause truth be told, they don't have the docs. Wayfarer told her to fall back cause all that was wrapped up in legal strategy, straight lawyer talk. But sis ain't letting it go. She found one random person in that email chain, decided, this one ain't got no lawyer reppin' them. And boom. Now she trying to say the convo wasn't protected. So she want them receipts from that person instead. Like, girl, you really out here digging through legal hay trying to snatch one little thread and call it a breakthrough. But listen, that's a whole saga by itself. What I really want to get into is what went down with Perez. Cause baby, I spotted a little detail yesterday that's too good not to share. Sis is pressed over the titles and nicknames Perez be using. Some of y'all be saying the same names, even some content creators out here with the zingers. Me? I ain't never been good with nicknames. But she mad cause he called her things like Blackface Blake. And let's not forget, she the one who admitted to that mess. Lion Lively? Yep, she owned up to that too. Clue Ku Klux Khaleesi? Now that one caught me off guard. I ain't even heard him drop that one. Litigious Lively? That's just parody, baby. It's no different than folks clowning about the nice pool. Like, can we please remind folks you can't sue somebody just because your feelings got hurt? And as for his headlines? Whew, Perez be going in. Blake Lively's non-existent smear campaign falls apart. Blake Lively is so unethical. Blake Lively the bully. Justin Baldoni exposes new Blake Lively lies. I mean, savage. Then you got Don't Believe the Blake Lively Lies. Justin had nothing to do with Jenny's complaint. Blake lied. And Blake trying to silence Justin. He's scared. But listen, most of that ain't just drama. He pulling it straight from the docs. His title's spicy, yeah, but they really not that far from what he be actually spilling in his vids. But circling back to how sis is deeply triggered by them Perez titles, girl, it's given pressed. So much so that she flipped his motion for a protective order into a whole cross motion to compel, even though he filed that motion to quash in Nevada. Now she out here sidestepping the Nevada courts and trying to force things in New York, even though that subpoena clearly says the tea gotta be spilled in Nevada. And instead of really addressing the issue of the protective order, like head on, she just kinda slides past it. Most of her energy is spent pushing that motion to compel. But here's where it gets wild. On page 15, she calls out something Perez actually dropped in his motion. A screenshot of one of my Instagram posts. Yup,
She claiming that Hilton's argument about the subpoena being too much of a burden just ain't enough to prove that it's out of line. The only evidence Perez got? A lil unverified screenshot of somebody else's social post saying they spent over $5,000 on legal fees. That ain't solid proof, boo. That ain't even relevant to whether Blake did something shady. The court shouldn't have to babysit Blake and force her to get permission before sending subpoenas to folks, because, according to her, there's zero evidence she did it dirty. But let's talk about Van Zandt. Did we mention the Van Zandt sham? Baby, this right here is the blueprint. This the exact reason she making those moves moot, right? What I said last week still stands. She agreeing to pull the subpoenas because if she takes that L and one gets quashed, it straight up looks like she out here abusing the system. And let's be clear, sis already had some quashed. The ones to the phone companies, too wide, too nosy, and definitely crossing some privacy lines. She already got that subpoena to Liner tossed out. Judge shut that down last week. Or wait, maybe it was earlier this week. Either way, he shut down most of Blake's subpoena to Brian Friedman's office too. Let's be real. She would have caught more L's if she ain't start withdrawing those subpoenas ahead of time. So nah, it ain't fair to say there's no evidence she be serving these subpoenas wrong. And back to that tired little screenshot. Perez mentioning someone saying they dropped over $5,000 in legal bills? The footnote trying to clean it up says, basically, yeah, Blake's sending subpoenas trying to find ties between Wayfarer and all the content spread on YouTube and X. And yeah, she pulled some back after talking it out or seeing the motions. And they trying to say that's not harassment? Girl, okay. And side note, I did get hit with a bill today. I can't drop all the receipts because it's wrapped up in attorney-client privilege, but what I can tell you is this. I got hit with a bill today, totaling $5,580. And guess what the heading said? Blake Lively subpoena. Yup. In just 2 weeks, I ran up damn near $5,600 messing with Ms. Lively and her crew. A chunk of that was going back and forth with her legal squad, who, by the way, swore up and down I was part of some smear campaign. Told us straight up they knew I was being paid by Baldoni and weren't gonna back down. That was day one. But then folks started dropping documents saying we weren't connected. And my legal team came through like, hold up, she ain't on nobody's payroll. She got nothing to give y'all. She don't owe y'all a thing. She's an independent journalist. And magically, boom, they pulled back. But mind you, through all that, they never once pointed to a single post or statement I made. Normally, if someone hit you with a cease and desist or subpoena, they be specific. Name the post. Name the quote. Something.
This film is a bit darker in nature. How was it getting in touch with your darker side?
It was just more like all the facades that I put up, I just had to let go, so you guys got to see the real me. I'm just a dark, horrible person, and I just got to let my flag fly. So there you go, this is the real me.
They're riding for content creators and clapping back at Blake Lively and all them wild accusations she's tossing around about folks online, them subpoenas, and how Melissa Nathan's supposedly out here leading some secret, messy smear campaign against her. In a letter sent to the judge today responding to Miss Blake's Friday motion to compel, she basically crying foul saying creators getting served now making her look like the villain, and the internet heat is real. And she blaming Melissa for it just cause she marked one lil doc as AEO. Now she trying to pin the whole public dragon on Melissa Nathan. Sound familiar, don't it? So here's what he clapped back with, standing tall for us and Melissa. In the motion, she swears up and down that the Wayfarer crew running some shady smear job, twisting the media game across the globe with secret sources just to make her look like the bad guy, but calling it untraceable.
Like if I was walking with my husband late at night and I see a shadowy figure coming towards us and it's dark, I would normally go on the other side of him, just to, it's your instinct to try to have your protector protect you. We're walking with a stroller. I don't know where we're walking with strollers with shadowy figures, but just to give you, the emotional parallel, now I go and I stand in front and go towards the figure. It's very primal, that mama bear thing.
Girl, stop. That don't even add up, because Blake know exactly which stories and writers got her pressed in the first place, but also blows up any reason she got for abusing this court and trying to twist them federal rules just to chase after what she call untraceable. And whew, ain't that the truth? Blake Lively knows exactly who she gunning for. She knows who she trying to drag through them subpoenas. This whole thing, Just some wild, messy scheme to dodge the heat she knows she brought on herself? And now she claiming Tag might have hid their tracks back when the drama popped off on August 24th? Baby, that's a confession. That after months of digging, Blake done got thousands of pages of receipts, hit folks with subpoenas left and right, and still ain't got a shred of proof that the Wayfarer crew ran any kind of smear game. All they did in August 2024 was stand 10 toes down and protect their name, like anybody would when dragged in public.
Well, there were a lot of conversations early on before we cast. Honestly, before we even were at Sony, it was supposed to be a really small indie movie at Wayfarer, and then Sony got involved later. Blake got cast, and it snowballed from there. But we had a lot of conversations about aging the roles up a little bit.
Then they pulled up Judge Lyman's ruling, saying a company speaking up for itself ain't no Title VII retaliation. It ain't no adverse employment action. Plus, Tag ain't even on the scene till early August, so sis trying to say they turned the world on her in under 2 weeks? Girl, be for real. Not wanting to face the fact that the internet dragged Lively all on their own, her motion straight up tries to throw Tag under the bus for her crumbling rep, with zero proof to back it up. She out here saying folks named in them interrogatory responses been talking reckless about her and this whole lawsuit, like Tag and the Wayfarer squad told them to do it. But what she don't mention is how wide them interrogatories really go. They ask for names of anybody Tag so much as emailed about Blake, her claims, or this court mess since May 24th. That's why them responses just list folks Tag sent clean, lawyer-approved quotes to when the press came knocking.
A character that is experiencing domestic abuse, and did being a mum to daughters play into that decision or impact your decision to take on the role?
I didn't look at any one thing in her life because I think she's so much more than this thing that happened to her. And yes, it can change the course of her life, but it doesn't define her. She defines herself. And that to me is really, really beautiful. She's not a victim and she's not a survivor. Well, she may be a victim and she may be a survivor. She's also multitudes.
Just like Blake's own team been doing, they issued statements tied to legal updates. And now she mad cause Melissa Nathan, who folks asking for comments out here speaking? Sis swear that's somehow part of this untraceable smear plot. But them interrogatory responses ain't saying nothing like what she trying to spin. They don't admit Tag hit up folks to drag her name like she out here hollering. Ain't no secret scheme, no shady whispers. Truth is, Tag ain't said boo to no content creators about this mess or them claims until 2025 when folks came asking. What did I tell you? Whole thing playing out just like we knew it would. I knew it was about them requests for comment. I knew it because a bunch of us been out here asking for the same thing. Now her motion out here claiming that the interrogatory answers, them confidentiality labels, and that AEO stamp are messing with folks. Saying content creators caught up in Discovery already got her looking like the bad guy, and that we trying to act like her digging for info is the same as some smear job. Whew! That's just a long-winded way of saying Blake Lively blaming Tag for the internet going in on her lately. This whole accusation? Baby, it's straight up nonsense. Pure foolishness. Ain't nobody talking about Tag. We just clapping back cause Blake came for us with subpoenas when she know good and well we ain't done a damn thing wrong. If she ain't want the smoke, she shouldn't have come knocking, cause she knows asking somebody for a quote ain't the same as dragging their name. Let's start there. Plus, them interrogatory responses? Right now, they only for the lawyer's eyes anyway.
You seem like you're in love with him, but you love Ryle. And I was like, no, I also love Ryle, but like, I really love Atlas. He's like, you love Ryle. And I was like, wait, I'm sorry. Wait, what's happening? But you love Ryle. I do, but like, she's conflicted. Totally. And that was always an interesting dynamic when you have somebody who's playing the character also being the one like looking at the movie. So we were always like, are we too connected? Are we too vibing? Yeah. But she loves Ryle. He's the best. I mean, she loves Atlas. She also loves Ryle. But she loves Atlas and young Lily.
Just like Blake's own team been doing, they issued statements tied to legal updates. And now she mad cause Melissa Nathan, who folks asking for comments, out here speaking? Sis swear that's somehow part of this untraceable smear plot. But them interrogatory responses ain't saying nothing like what she trying to spin. They don't admit Tag hit up folks to drag her name like she out here hollering. Ain't no secret scheme, no shady whispers. Truth is, Tag ain't said boo to no content creators about this mess or them claims until 2025 when folks came asking. What did I tell you? Whole thing playing out just like we knew it would. I knew it was about them requests for comment. I knew it, cause a bunch of us been out here asking for the same thing. Now her motion out here claiming that the interrogatory answers, them confidentiality labels, and that AEO stamp are messing with folks. saying content creators caught up in discovery already got her looking like the bad guy, and that we trying to act like her digging for info is the same as some smear job. Whew. That's just a long-winded way of saying Blake Lively blaming Tag for the internet going in on her lately. This whole accusation? Baby, it's straight up nonsense. Pure foolishness. Ain't nobody talking about Tag. We just clapping back cause Blake came for us with subpoenas when she know good and well we ain't done a damn thing wrong. If she ain't want the smoke, she shouldn't have come knocking, cause she knows asking somebody for a quote ain't the same as dragging their name. Let's start there. Plus, them interrogatory responses? Right now, they only for the lawyer's eyes anyway.
Blake's whole case tossed out like last week's leftovers. And when the judge dropped that gavel, he made it crystal clear. Sis can only bring that mess back to New York if, and that's a big if, she can prove he aimed his shady moves at New York, that it hit her directly and actually did her dirty there. But baby, she ain't got the receipts. Judge even said she could try her luck in another spot, like Texas. But I already told y'all, Texas ain't no cakewalk. She got roadblocks down there too, especially if she want to spin the block and hit him with a countersuit. It's giving legal gymnastics. And look, I had to rewind a bit, because when me and the legal crew were deep in this whole creator drama, things got real complicated, real quick. It was real obvious to me that her team is trying to moonwalk away from this whole Jed mess. Now they talking about, oh no, it wasn't just Jed in the mix. Everybody had their hands in that smear campaign. Like, they really trying to water down his role now, acting like he wasn't front and center the way she originally said he was. And the moment I peeped that switch up, I was like, she ain't refiling against him. Just a gut feeling, okay? And I told y'all that yesterday. But then I went back and looked at her first notice to him, when she was trying to drag him into that deposition. And baby, I caught something in that paperwork that's major. And get this, I also found a doc that just got unsealed, like yesterday. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Let's talk about it. If you're feeling the vibe, hit that like button. And if you're new to the fam, make sure you smash that subscribe button. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so you're the first to know when we drop the latest and greatest. Thanks for tuning in.